I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019. This is the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors meeting. We are at the Mitchell County Courthouse. It is now 8:30 and we have before us an agenda. Do we have any additions or corrections? If not,
I'll move to accept the agenda as
Second.
is.
Second.
Barb has made a motion. Stanley has seconded it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approve the minutes of August 27th. So hopefully we've read that. Anybody see any issues there, any corrections?
So move.
Second.
No. Stanley has made a motion, Barb has seconded. Roll call, Stanley.
Aye.
Barb.
Aye.
Smolik, aye. Moving on. County Attorney, general discussion. Mark.
The only thing I really had was that Stacyville Kids Care, and just to kind of give you an update on this. As you remember, they said they had to have the project done by June or they were going to get shut down, and Barb and I had requested copies of bills and didn't receive any, and basically we were saying kind of what the heck's going on, you're supposed to be done by June and we're not getting any bills. And then Amanda sent a letter explaining that they received an extension and it's going to be done in the near future, and when it's done they'll send us copies of bills, and that's where we are. I just wanted to give you an update because it was like, gosh, that was supposed to have been done in June, why aren't we getting any bills? Because they said if it costs more than that they'd refund the extra. So, and Barb had requested bills, and I guess, we weren't receiving bills because apparently there weren't any yet, maybe just a couple. So,
And I had talked with some people from that group and at a meeting, and nobody gave an explanation then, nobody said anything about it. I'd appreciate it if they would just let us know that it was extended.
yeah, if they just would have said,
We gave 26,000
Yeah.
plus.
it's it was supposed to be done by June, just give us
I
when it wasn't going to be done, they should have sent a letter saying, okay, we've got an extension till September or August, we'll let you know then. And I think everybody would have been fine. It's just, and I think
I'm a little concerned on one of the emails that we got too, that it mentioned that they had a designer for the kitchen. Now, I hope they're not gonna turn in a bill for the designer, because we just agreed to pay for appliances in that Ansel system. So.
I guess we'll look at the bills when we get them.
Yeah.
Well, my understanding is, Amanda apologized for dropping the ball, and like I say, it's just one of those things you don't think about keeping everybody updated. But the other thing is that they have a person that's going to install that Ansel system that apparently is certified or whatever, but doesn't do it on a full-time basis. It's going to be they feel they can save a lot of money by using this person, so that's also part of the.
Well,
So.
it's good to know.
So I think right now we're fine. Just, look for bills and see what happens.
Yep.
That's all I really
Yeah, now
have.
that we know what's going on.
Yeah, now that we know what's going on, if somebody would have just let you know, that would have solved, it's not like you got $500 or $1,000. You got $26,600. That's like, gosh, you can at least provide a report. But
And it was agreed too, if they didn't spend it all, that we would get
Yeah.
that money back too.
yeah,
Well, thank you, Mark.
and that's all I have.
Is there anything for Mark?
Not right offhand.
Good.
I will make a phone call later.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
Thank you.
Say, while I'm thinking of it, just out of curiosity, because the hospital is trying to demolish that building up there that used to be the daycare that was the old clinic and this and that. And I think the hospital is kind of listed as a nonprofit in that. I mean, although it's also Mitchell County, is the hospital really owned by Mitchell County, do you think, or no, or is it,
Well, do they have the power to levy though?
Yeah, they're on our
And
list.
the
They do
employees
further
are
fight than
IFRS
IFRS.
employees. Okay.
And they do for an ambulance.
Yeah. It's always been my opinion, if they've got the power to levy, they're a separate entity. They're a separate entity,
okay.
legally. Because they're, you know, they've got their own books, they've got their own records.
They do their own financial
They've got
audit
their
report.
own, they've got their own board, their own elections, there's not too much control you can exercise over that hospital, so I think they're their own entity.
But are they more than just a 501c3?
I don't know if they're a 501c3 or not, I don't know the
I mean,
answer.
I think they're a chapter, either 44 or 45 hospital.
But I mean, basically, again, though, then that makes them, how do I want to put it, a government entity as opposed to,
Well, they're definitely a government entity, it's just, you know, 501c3 is a specific section under the code that says if you donate to them, you can take your contributions off on your tax return. So I have to believe they've, you know, they could be under Iowa Code 44 or 45 as that, but then they're also registered with the IRS as a 501c3 corporation.
because the state does not want to give them any money if they're just a nonprofit. But if it's a city or county,
Well, I'll
and they
check, I'm confident, like Lowell said, they're under one of those code sections, and they're both, but I can check on
I mean, just really curious if they would be, like you say, a county, really a county entity, not necessarily under us, but I mean, still a county entity as
And we
opposed to.
file a budget.
that. Yeah, since they file their own budget and everything, I think they're just kinda like Conservation Board.
The building is county building, isn't it?
Yes, I would.
It's
Which one?
the
The hospital itself,
I have your number.
I never had anything to do with it.
I don't know.
It's called Mitchell County, but
Well, yeah, it's,
Mitchell County.
Well, it's kinda like
It's
Conservation,
managed by-
Conservation can buy land, but it's titled in the county's name. That's just what the code says. Conservation buys land, and now I know we've got some that's actually titled in their name, but it's supposed to be titled in Mitchell County's name. So I don't know about the hospital, I just don't know the answer.
okay.
Well, don't spend a lot of time on it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Moving on, it appears we're gonna drop right down to approve the revised employee personnel policy manual. And, we all three have it, hopefully we've read it, I've read it.
I read it all along as we were making our changes.
Yeah, she's made things pretty obvious as to how it will work, it's simple, you know, she's got it worded,
Added
it's,
odds and ends just
Common
to make it more
sense.
clear.
yes. So,
Also move that we approve it, if that's what you need.
I would think that's exactly what we're going to approve this, we have to have a motion. And
I will second it and want discussion.
You want discussion?
Mhm.
Okay, go for it.
Again, I understand that we feel that a policy is a good thing, and yet again, you know what the county attorney says about policies.
yeah,
And so I have a mixed emotion on, in one respect,
Yeah, I understand they're not necessarily held accountable, but I still think you need to have
I mean,
guidelines for employees to
If we,
strive for.
I guess if we're, basically calling this a guideline and that, I really have no problem. I mean, but like you say, hard and fast, whatever, like the county attorney said, it puts us in a position that we really don't always wanna be in. So,
No, but sometimes you need to have a policy.
well, I say it's a
And all
guideline,
the
it's
counties
not,
do,
Yeah, I
basically.
think you need to have it.
So it's at your
that's all we
discretion.
got? I just wanna
Okay.
make,
Barb has made a motion to approve, Stanley has made a motion,
second,
seconded the motion, and, all in favor, say aye.
No,
Aye.
you need a roll call vote.
Well, I was gonna go through that yet, but okay, we'll roll call vote. Barb,
Aye.
Stanley,
reluctantly, aye.
Smollett, aye. And so we have approved of this.
I'll let Renee know.
Thank you, Lowell. Items of note. Meetings attended. Barb, would you like the floor first?
Sure. I had what was supposed to be a 1.5-hour Iowa Workforce Training live webinar, but they packed a ton in 2 hours. They discussed all the changes that will be made with the cutting of the 15 to 6 regions. My understanding from listening to this is the reason we had to cut to 6 regions is because our federal money, it sounds to me like, was cut because Iowa is 5 years behind with becoming compliant with this. And so they had to make drastic changes for us to get compliant in a hurry. We covered a lot of details for the CEOs, which would be supervisors. And I have to have more live training in Waterloo in October, which will be at least 4.5 hours. And then we all met with the DNR and we discussed applying for a derelict building grant program to take down the county care facility. And we can get much more by diverting as much weight as possible, such as finding a place to get rid of the brick. We have a better chance of getting it by listing what we will do with the land later. We can get full reimbursement for asbestos inspection, which we had before, but it sounds like you have to have a current one. And a partial abatement to cover getting rid of it, the asbestos. The application was due, was it April? February, I couldn't find in my notes where I put when it was due. And do you guys have anything to add to that?
I do not, I think you pretty well caught it all.
I went through again that application this morning. I don't think it's gonna be that difficult. It's gonna basically be, the main things are gonna be getting 3 bids.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the asbestos report, I think we can justify, cause that, and I realize some of it's, Phil, but that asbestos report was 42 pages. And
It wasn't that long ago, was it?
It was 2 years ago.
Okay,
But I mean, again,
well, we can ask, doesn't hurt to ask.
again, that, if I remember right, it was tens of thousands of dollars, wasn't it, Lowell, for that report?
Yeah,
Whoa.
I'm thinking it was like, wasn't it around 75?
Yeah, I'm thinking too, $75,000, $80,000 for, I mean, it was a complete,
Oh my gosh.
Really?
oh yeah. That's why I say it,
Well, let's hope that we can use that, my
well,
lord.
I'll fight to be able
Yeah,
to.
Okay.
wow.
As I indicated earlier, that I do have some weights that you can write down. I have them with me. Anyways,
Well, we'll have to just do a workshop on one of these days and start on it, and
Yeah, any help you want, I'm willing,
So that's your meetings, Barb?
yes.
Stanley?
that was my meeting.
That was your meeting. I had the same meeting, plus I had a Valent meeting. And basically it was short but yet a long meeting. They're having internal meetings, setting up a compliance plan. There are no fines. We are just out of compliance on the new permit. And one of the permit percentages in there, the new permit was 9% of a certain, and I unfortunately didn't get what that was, ammonia or DODs. Instead of 9% on the permit, it's supposed to be 9.5. They caught that. Apparently, the regional DNR do not talk with down at the Wallace building. So they come up with 9%, it's still only supposed to be 9.5. So other than that, that's my meeting. So moving on, manure management plan, updates.
Okay. We have Stephen and Paul Grove, 4450 Jersey Avenue, St. Ansgar. Cooper Hog Site 1, 1960, 410th Street, Osage. Cooper Hog Site 3, 4186 Kirkwood Avenue, Osage. And Iowa Select Tooker Finisher at 3024 State Line Street, Riceville.
Thank you, Lowell. It looks like the sheriff is not going to make it today, so we will not have a Sheriff's Department update. And our other piece that's on here, I do not see somebody here for that. Stacyville Kids Care is not, I don't see anybody here, so we will ask for public comments. Charlie, you have anything to say?
No.
Barb or Stan, would you like to say
What
something?
was the Stacyville Kids Care supposed to be about?
I think that's just what Mark discussed,
Okay.
yeah. And I suppose it was put
Yeah,
on
no,
there if
that's what
they
I thought,
wanted the
but I-
opportunity
That's
to
what I
have
thought, but I
somebody
thought
here.
maybe there was something different.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought maybe there was gonna be somebody here too, so
No.
that's why. Anyways, if we don't have any further public comments, we will call this meeting over